Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Mike Elko, Texas A&M, really starting to build some momentum on the recruiting trail as they land their second commitment of the last 48 hours. This one coming from four-star wide receiver Mike Brown, and right off the bat, what you love, legacy kid, right? His dad played linebacker for Texas A&M back in the 1990s, I believe, was a first-round NFL draft pick. And so that's something that jumps off in 10 years ago, that might have not been a huge storyline, at least to me. In this modern era of college football, specifically on the high school recruiting trail, where a lot of these commitments are transactional, getting players to add to your roster that know what it means to play for Texas A&M, that live and breathe the program. That's something that I think is starting to matter, and you get it with a guy like Mike Brown. Then you start looking at the football player, and I look at it and say kind of an underrated wide receiver in this 2026 cycle because he doesn't have the crazy size and he doesn't have the crazy track times. And I feel like at times in this era of high school recruiting where we have so much access to height and weight, track times in the spring, we sometimes gravitate heavy to the guys who are really big and can run really fast, and we forget to look at the actual football player. Mike Brown, although not the biggest, not the fastest, is a really polished route runner that knows how to create separation, that can be a threat after the catch. There's a lot of one trick ponies coming out of high school at the wide receiver position. The guys that have the crazy track times are the guys that are going 6'5", that can just work vertically down the field and go up and catch the football. There's not a ton of wide receivers that offer a wide variety of skill sets. And I think Mike Brown is one of those guys. And you look at the wide receivers that are having the most success at the collegiate and NFL ranks, it's the guys that know how to play the position, know how to tempo their routes, know how to create separation, can be threats after the catch. I look at Mike Brown and say he checks those kind of boxes. So he's not the flashiest recruit because he doesn't have crazy size. He doesn't have crazy track times, but you turn on the film, of which we're going to do in a little bit, and say, checks a lot of boxes that you're looking for at the wide receiver position. Now, before we get into Mike Brown, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the Texas A&M fans. It truly has been a blast talking this program on the recruiting trail, in the transfer portal. All the support y'all have shown the fellas in the winter and spring months has been amazing. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into this one. And I probably got to start by backtracking a little bit. Mike Brown, I said he's not the biggest, not the fastest. Pretty damn fast kid. Clocks a 10.9 in the 100-meter dash. Anytime you go sub 11 in the 100 meters, you can flat out fly. So Mike Brown, yeah, it's not 10.5. It's not like Jonathan Hatton, who we talked about Sunday morning, but this is a kid that can move and he can work vertically. But what stands out to you the most is the understanding of the position. And I'm talking about not only clean route running, but how to sit it down in zone coverage, how to be a quarterback friendly pass catcher, which so many really talented wide receivers kind of lack at the high school ranks, and really go through some growing pains when they get to the college football level and are forced to say, hey, I'm no longer the biggest and fastest. Now I got to get better at the position. Mike Brown's really good at the position early on in his college football career. You turn on the film, and again, I think there's what you're going to see here is him win in a multitude of different ways. He can work vertically down the field. He can track the football. He's got really good releases off the line of scrimmage. Look, if you don't want to put a safety over top of Mike Brown, he can win vertically without a problem. Really nice acceleration when it's time to go up. And by the way, the quarterback, I don't know who it is, he can straight up rip it. And so shout out the quarterback of Mike Brown, but you see how comfortable he is tracking the football and making plays. You continue to work through it, and you continue to see the different ways he can get involved in this Texas A&M offense. Working vertically. Now, we ain't the biggest body here, but we can work through some contact, and we can go adjust to the football. We have that body control and coordination, which is, again, not something you can quantify with track times and height and weight. But when you turn on the film and you see a guy make these kind of plays where I got to adjust my body and work through contact, those are pluses that you look for when you're evaluating some of the film. Really good route here. Again, you talk about a guy that can beat man coverage and create separation. Mike Brown's that guy. Really good short area quicks. Really good in change of direction. Those are things you're looking for. I think you're going to see a back shoulder fade here. and hey, we're just going to adjust to the football. It kind of makes it look easy, adjusting to the football, really comfortable with the football in the air, all things you're looking for. Seems to be a guy that operates really well in the red zone. I mean, you turn it on and say he's a guy that they always go to in the red zone. Really comfortable. I mean, again, beat man coverage, create separation, go make plays. What you're going to continue to see is what he can do after the catch, too, which I don't think should be underrated. Continue to work through it. This is a play I like a lot. This is something that a lot of wide receivers struggle with, and that is, hey, can you be quarterback friendly in these scramble drill separation or type of situations? Can you find the open grass to go be presentable to your quarterback? And Mike Brown can. Now, that's something that kind of takes good wide receivers to great, knowing how to be available, knowing how to get open for your quarterback. Continue to work through it. You'll see him work over the middle of the field here. We got a yards after the catch play coming up, which I thought was intriguing too, because he is a guy that's comfortable with the football in his hands, which I think is important. Nice route here. Create separation, track the football, have the body control as you're working towards the boundary. There's a lot to like about Mike Brown. And you look at the 2026 cycle for Texas A&M, number one, even coming off of what I think was probably a disappointing year for many with Texas A&M. They have not lost any momentum on the recruiting trail. And like we talked about yesterday, one of our biggest concerns was, hey, can Mike Elko come to Texas A&M and recruit the way necessary to win SEC national championships? You've seen him do that. He's used the high school recruiting trail really well. He's used the transfer portal really well. I am in the category of a Mike Elko believer as a football coach. You give Mike Elko the talent, he's going to create a program that can win at the highest level. You're seeing Mike Elko not only use the transfer portal, but also the high school ranks to do a really nice job building this roster. And you look at it heading into 2025, I don't know if I go as far in saying that it's the most talented roster in the country, but they have the prerequisite talent to be a dangerous football team. And Mike Elko's only trending in the right direction in terms of talent acquisition and talent on the roster. We know he's a good football coach, and you give him the necessary talent. That's the recipe that you got to get right when you're trying to win SEC national championships. We'll sign out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.